Got up on the dais. I saw you every once in a while just kind of looking at Jonathan Toews. Was it, God, this is real. I'm going to have this guy.
Yeah, it really is unbelievable. The respect I have for him. Watch him. I've been in this city a long time, and kind of him coming through here, and then obviously turning pro and just winning everywhere he's been. And Mark and Chevy, we talked, month ago, whatever it may be, about the chance to have him join our hockey team. They asked my opinion, and I came out of my shoes. I was so excited that there was a possibility. And I've talked shortly thereafter. I talked to every player on the team. All our leadership group asked for their opinion before we went down that road, and it was unanimous. Everybody feels the exact same way I do, that he'll be a big benefit for us both on the ice and off the ice, and I'm so excited. We just went through free agency, and I'd like to, there's a lot of names at the top of the list of who is a free agent. I'd like to think we got the best one.
How many line variations, speaking of free agency, but seriously, have you gone through since this became official? Because it's only human, isn't it?
Yeah, obviously when when it became official for us, I had talked to Jonathan, but then he's called me a couple times since that. And one of the conversations was, Arnie, I don't want anything given to me. I'll start on the fourth line. And I'm thinking, I don't think that'll go real well if I put you on the fourth line. But obviously with Lowry, that scenario, that's a time thing. We'll see how that moves forward. But I've thrown a lot of names around. Obviously we made some additions to our hockey club in the last week here. But at the end of the day, that's a part about him is he's such a great player that he'll benefit with whatever he's with.
Scott, how closely do you have to monitor some of those health concerns and some of the things that Jonathan has battled? Is there any kind of load management that you have to take into account with the season?
You know what? I really haven't got into it too much that way with him. All I know is he's been training like crazy. He's been going hard, and again, another phone call was asked me what kind of off-ice testing do we do when it comes to training camp. He is so driven. He wants to make a great impression, and I think that he's just the type of guy that he knows his body, as you heard. He knows his body really well, and that part of it for us, that's not really my department. But I just think that I think he's a guy that's so excited to get started.
Scott, you have your existing leadership group, but what's it like to add Captain Sirius to that group? I imagine he'll be at the very least an unofficial leader with this team.
Yeah, and that was one of the big things that came from a lot of our players, was that just to listen to him speak. He's been through a lot of situations, won an awful lot. Anything we can gain, anything I can gain, even as a coach, but what our players can, get from him. I know that's, Adam Lowry mentioned the same thing, and, Scheif, those guys, just, he's done it all, and he's been elite his whole career. And, I think that he, every time he does have something to say, the room will get awfully quiet. And that's what he was the big thing about it. He knows that we have a really good group, and he knows about our dressing room and our leadership, and it was one of the things he doesn't want to disrupt it. But on the same side, I'm the one pushing, and they all want to push too, to make sure that he has something to say. We want to know what he's thinking.
Do you ever have to restrain yourself looking down the bench, seeing 19 as an option, knowing that you're trying to play it for the playoffs too,
Yeah, well, honestly, that goes back to the lineup, the matching, power play, penalty kill. I've seen him do everything. So, we'll have to, as we move forward here on load management and all that stuff, kind of getting them up and running. That'll all be kind of on the fly, I guess, as we go. But you're right. For me, there's elite. I've been able to be around some elite players. This guy's near the top for me, and to have a chance to coach him this is special for me.
What was that first conversation like with him, Scott?
He was the one that was all, I don't want to disrupt. I just, you don't have to, I don't want anything handed to me. I'm so excited. He was really appreciative and really complimentary of our team. He followed us an awful lot this year, and in the last couple of years, really likes our group. Really thinks that we can be special. We had a special year this past year, but even more so moving forward. Him being a part of it. But he was really good. He was just lots of sort of compliments, but also some questions about kind of how we do things a little bit and kind of how we go about it. Just such a true professional.
What do you make of Nikolaj Ehlers moving on to Carolina, and what did the conversations like?
Yeah. Nick phoned me yesterday, almost in tears. He just felt the biggest thing for him is just he needed to change the scenery, and that wasn't based on the city, the hockey team, anything like that. He just felt like he'd been here a long time. This was his one chance to make a change. He's going to talk publicly in the next few days, but I was real appreciative, thankful for what he's done for this team, this organization. It's a big hole, it's a big hole for us, but at the end of the day, that's his choice. He gets to this stage in his career, and he just felt that that's what he wanted to do, and we had a great talk, Bill. It was great to talk to him.
Was there anything that came up about his usage here, or maybe a reason of him moving on?
He was extremely appreciative of what went on here, how he was handled, and things that have happened, and loves the city, and just decided to make a move that something he had a chance to do.
We talked a lot over the playoffs about getting out of round 1, and then round 2 is a whole fresh new pressure, and round 3 has got to ratchet up with that. And a while ago you said, well, Jonathan brings experience in those situations. What are you hoping he can share?
Well, he's lived it so much. When teams talk about being in those moments, that's why those guys that have won championships, won Stanley Cups, that's why they're important. I know it's, we had brought Luke Shen in this year, and there was some times where just him having the experience of being around a cup and being in those situations, what he said, and, there was maybe not as much as what Jonathan has done, but at the same time, he's lived these moments. And if it's one of our third line players, or if it's one of our defensemen, or, if it's Adam Lowry, having a quiet conversation with him at dinner, or in the dressing room, or whatever it may be, and just picking his brain. Those are things that to be able to have that and be able to do that, it just speeds up the process, and then especially anything that comes out of his head and his mouth, you're going to pay attention, because he's done it, he's lived it, and he's won everywhere he's been.
What about some of the other guys you brought in, Scott? Some of the other forward groups and free
Yeah,
agency?
yeah. You know what? Last year, you guys, we've talked about free agency. Sometimes it's tough for us in this market, but last year we really looked at our depth, and a lot of it was on our back end. And we knew how important that became coming right out of training camp with our defense. This year it flipped the other way. We went heavy with the forwards, and we signed a lot of guys. There's a lot of sort of some similarities to these guys. Nyquist, Pearson, those guys. There's another guy, Pearson, that's won a cup. Nyquist is an experienced guy. They can, 2 years ago at 75 points. So there's some offensive help there to replace Nick. But the other guys, there's size, there's speed, there's heavy character, physicality, physical kind of guys. So that's kind of where we were looking with that kind of group coming in.
Is there a benefit also for those guys to insulate some of the younger prospects who are turning pro this year, like Colby Barlow, Braden Yager, Jacob Julian?
Yeah, well, just spent the week at development camp, and to see the growth of some of those guys, where they were a couple of years ago, where they were last year, and then obviously there's a whole pile of them coming out. I think it's maybe 6 of them are coming. That's great for organization, because we have to restock the shelf, and that's part of the growth. I know there's a lot of one-year contracts that we signed this summer, but we have opportunities that down the road here that may open themselves up, and some of these guys need to maybe be a part of that.
I know you weren't on the ice with at development camp, but what was it like seeing all these kids together and kind of another wave of kids added to the prospect pool?
Well, that's what it's about. When you go for to make these runs, you give up your first-round picks, or you give up second or third-round picks. You lose your depth, and in a market like us, it's imperative that we have some of these kids coming in and being able to be a part of our future. If you look at our core right now, that all goes back to the Scheifele, Lowry, KC, Hellebuck, Ehlers. That was all those guys drafted. That was built from within and grown from within, and so that's what we're thinking about. We have to continue to do here, and we feel we got some really nice pieces that are, we have a couple that might be on our team next year, but we also have some good pieces down the road here.
What do you think it'll do just on a grassroots level and off the ice to have a player like Jonathan Toews here in the city who's from Winnipeg and has done so much?
That's just, I think that, I know I've already heard from older people that have been around Jonathan in the city here, so excited. Guys his age, players that have played. It's amazing how many guys people have said that he was my favorite player growing up, and that's pretty cool. And now for our fan base that that we love, that we saw the support that we have to have a homegrown kid come into that lineup, and everybody knows that one day he'll be a Hall of Famer, and just to have him here, I think the excitement is just going to be amazing.
Scott, just one on Mason, player. I know you love the player, love the person, and obviously Mason's moving on as well. Did you have a conversation with him?
Yeah, no, I haven't touched base with Mason. With Tanny, with Nick, those guys are all. They're all Jet guys, have been here for a while. I know Tanny came back. It's hard at this time of year. Those guys have the right to be free agents, and each and every one of us, our organizations, our teams have kind of their ideas of where they may be looking to go and things, and it's kind of how it sort of played itself out. And Mason, he had 2 kicks here, and again, another real good player that led Winnipeg Jet, red, white, and blue, and meant an awful lot to him here to be a player here, and and he's much appreciated as well.